Good evening, good morning, good afternoon, whenever you're joining. Welcome to Power Platform today. With me, I have got the fantastic Joe Gill, and I'm going to bring him on now. Joe, please introduce yourself to the world.
Hey, Reese, thanks for having me. Probably wouldn't go as far as fantastic, but there you go. Yeah, my name is Joe Gill. Yeah, I'm a Microsoft MVP, Power Platform consultant. Got my own little consultancy in Ireland, helping people with, adopting low code to digital transformative businesses. So yeah, that's me.
Yeah, I mean, Joe, you're definitely selling yourself short there. I mean, you've been at this game for a while, and in the very truest sense of the community side of things. I mean, how long have you been MVP now?
Uh, 2016, 2016, I was made MVP. Yeah, yeah.
Oh, you're going up to 10 years. Ah, nice.
I am coming up to 10 years, but I was actually kicked out at one stage and they took me back in again. So we put that down to an admin error.
I like it. It's 10 chronicle years. There you go. It's 10 years in time.
Yeah, yeah.
So community, I like to kind of start with people where
Okay.
community started for them. I'm going to start with community for you because you are very active in the community, and I know that you will play it down, but you are, as you know, you've got a user group and MVP, and we'll get into that in a second. But where did the community side start for you?
It actually, you only know about my Power Platform Dynamics community work, but I actually was involved with the community long before this. I used to work in London. I'm from Cork originally, and I worked in London for a long time. And I worked in the city there working. I was basically kind of developer, solution architect, tech lead on the Microsoft platform. And I came back to Cork, and I didn't really know anybody working in IT in Cork. So I set up basically a kind of .NET user group in Cork, and we used to do .NET talks and SQL Server. And this is kind of pre-teams and all that. So they're all in-person events.
Mm-hmm.
And they're pretty well attended. And I started to meet a few people in IT in Cork through that. I did that for a few years. Then I saw the light. I came across CRM, Microsoft CRM at the time that it was. And I thought, yeah, this is great. We can build apps without writing code and stuff like that. And that's kind of how I got into Dynamics. And then flip forward a few years later, then I set up we started off as the Dynamics CRM user group back in 2017. And we had our first meeting out at Microsoft, and we had people like, I don't know if you know John Grace of North 52.
Yes, I know him well.
Yeah. John was one of our presenters there, and a few other guys. And it started from there, and then after a few years, then we basically rebadged to the Power Platform user group.
Yeah, no,
so
that's really cool.
Yeah. So that's I love community. It's great. You go along, and somebody comes along and does a session, a chat, and you discuss what's been going on. And me personally, I just learned so much of the user group than I do online. You go along and someone say, "Let me look to this or try this," and you can, yeah. It's and enjoyable as well.
Oh, I have so many questions. I want to start with, because I think you're probably the first I've spoken to that has been involved in two separate communities. So I see .NET and Power Platform as separate communities if we're going by the technology stack, certainly. So you're in a position to be able to compare and contrast. How would you say there are differences between the .NET crowd and the Power Platform crowd?
I guess probably on the .NET side, there were probably a lot of guys probably would have been more enterprise level and serious engineers.
Yeah.
Not that the Power Platform guys aren't serious. This is.
I know what you mean. I know exactly what you mean.
you're setting a trap for me now. You already, it's like,
Well, no,
yeah.
because I will say it because the view
The
I've got
Power
is
Platform guys are great. Those .NET guys are crap. Yeah,
that's
yeah.
it. That's
That's what you
exactly it.
want me to
That's it.
say.
That's right. But so I've spoken to a lot of people about this. Power Platform is a funny thing because I've never met a person in Power Platform that has aimed to get into the Power Platform. They've fallen into it in some way. They've found out about it. They've tumbled into it in some way, shape, or form through other areas. Now they could have come through an IT background. They could have come through business. They could have been whatever, but they've come across CRM or the Power Platform, and from there they've been like, huh, this is interesting. Whereas .NET, you can go to university, you can study a course in programming, you can come out and get into a .NET job. So it's a different, from that perspective, you have a career focus straight at the beginning in quite a lot of developers, whereas in Power Platform, I feel quite often we're a very eclectic bunch. We come from all sorts of different places.
Yeah,
That's
no, no,
that's the
you're
main
right.
difference I see.
Yeah, no, you're right. Yeah, 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 yeah. And then there's probably gaps on either side because what can tend to happen when engineers is they may, and again, look, we're generalizing, they may not have the interpersonal skills to
Hmm.
extract requirements and the subtleties when somebody tells them, A plus B equals. And then on the other side of the coin, what can happen sometimes with the Power Platform guys is that they actually don't understand, some guys probably don't understand things like, will your app scale?
Hmm.
What
Yeah.
happens if something goes wrong, error trapping, that sort of stuff, you know what I mean? And
Yeah.
you know, ALM, even basic ALM stuff, some guys say, oh well, no, we just changed it in prod. Yeah.
Oh, I
Yeah,
know.
look, yeah, that's
I can't believe that it's still. Well, no, I can believe it's absolutely still a problem. I do have people that still do things like that I work with, but on top of that, I also have customers that have gone in and just changed it, and then afterwards asked me, "Oh, it was all right to change that, right?" It's like, no,
yeah,
no, it wasn't.
yeah, that's
Evidently, we didn't have the talk. But no, yeah, I think there's a lot to be said for that because true solid. I would class it if we think of it as back end developers or technical developers, so people that really love the code, work within that world. They're very comfortable generally with ALM, Git, all of these command line type things that a developer would be
yeah,
using. And the Power Platform side, more often than not, and again we're generalizing, are not because that's not normally their background. And so as a result, there's a bit of a divide there, and I find it with developers, and this is across the board. The developers that I've got that I've worked with, the biggest thing they have to learn always is the customer focus and the business focus. So get their head out of the actual technical implementation because that is only a small part of it. A lot of what we do is consultancy and implementing the functions for a business. So we're solving business problems. We're not making the most efficient, beautiful, scalable code. We are making stuff that will get the job done in a way that makes sense for the business and is as cost effective. And so I find that's the biggest thing I have to get a developer to think about. And on the other side, on the Power Platform side, anyone that has come in without the code, it's ALM, it's proper process. It's no,
yeah,
it's not flow for everything. Sometimes a plugin is a good idea.
yeah,
So that's interesting. So 2017. So what made you start a user group at that point? What were you? And you just had enough of .NET and you wanted to to do the Power
yeah.
Platform or the CRM one.
Uh, I enjoy, like, I really enjoy user groups and meetups. I'm primarily a kind of
Hmm.
in-person community guy and stuff like that. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
And I'll be frank, it was a struggle for a lot of years. I'm just looking at some of the events now, and probably, yeah, I probably spoke at a lot of the early ones. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But after a few years, we started to get some momentum, and there's a real hardcore. I mean, a nice hardcore bunch of people who turn up and present and help people. If we have new presenters, they help them out, and if they see someone struggling, they jump in, and
Yeah.
it really is. It's kind of a bit like a community family, really. Yeah, I really enjoy it. I'm really thankful for the guys involved.
Hmm.
And
So
then probably then getting on. Should I talk about the summit then? Is that?
Yeah, of course. Go
Yeah,
ahead.
yeah, yeah. So like we've been going a few years and stuff like that, and then last year we held the first basically Irish Power Platform Summit, and Microsoft hosted it. So we ran it out of their offices, and we kind of took a different approach to many conferences, because what we wanted to do was kind of showcase and celebrate kind of all the good people in the Irish community. You know what I mean? So
Okay,
like
cool.
last year we had 10 speakers, and a bulk of them were, local presenters and stuff like that. And people who had presented at the meetups and said, look, yeah, we're going to have a big day out at Microsoft, and, do you want to do a session and stuff like that? And we're running it again this year on the 2nd October. We're going up to like 15 speakers this year. We got a couple of guest speakers coming in, but the majority are local based people and stuff like that. And it's a lovely atmosphere because, Ireland's pretty small. Most of the people know each other. They may have worked with somebody who's presenting, you know. So there's a lovely atmosphere. And then, there's a little bit of, we have a social event afterwards. So there's a bit of a party in the evening. So that's pretty good as well. So we're building up for that now. And we opened for registrations Monday a week ago, and we're full now. We've a waiting list, you know what I mean? So
Nice.
we're going to have 150 people out there in a couple of weeks' time,
Fantastic.
So yeah, no, it's good, So.
Well, yeah, because that's where we met, was at a conference in Ireland. It wasn't that one because that's obviously newer, but I think it was 2019. I think it would have
Yeah,
been.
no, it was, yeah. And that was the one, Raz, who's a great,
Yep.
Raz is, yeah, he's the man, you know what I mean? And Janet was involved as well, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? So they were a great bunch of people and stuff. Yeah, a lovely bunch, yeah. So that's it. So that's,
I have to say, and your name has come up a few times on this show, because I talk about how I've got into community, and that conference was the one that kind of, I mean, it did start it for me, in that it was the first one that I went to. I'd been to a few little sort of user groupy type things, but it wasn't much. It was more related to work at the time. But that was the first conference I went to actively to go to the conference, to actually meet people. Interestingly enough, to go and see John Grace, because I was going to go and see about a job with him. And so I went there, and I had such a good time. I'd booked myself into a hostel. So I was going to be staying, because I was keeping on the cheap. No one was paying for me to go. So it was me going on my own dime. So I had arrived the night before, and I'd stayed in the hostel. And so when I came to the conference, I'd already decided at that point, I'm not staying in that hostel another night. I was supposed to stay there that night and fly out the next day. But it was horrendous. Like, I'm too old for that. Even at that time. No, too old. I had next to no sleep. It was just terrible. So I was like, there's no way I'm going to do that. And so at the end of the conference, after hanging around with a whole bunch of different people, so that was where I first met Chris Huntingford as well. He was pretty drunk at the time that I was talking to him. But then I was like, now what do I do? Because I got to go. I mean, I've got a few hours. My flight was early, so it was an early flight. I think it was something like a 6 or 7 flight the next day. And I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna, stay awake. Yeah. And so that's when I came across you and Neil. I don't actually know exactly how it happened, but you guys invited me along to a Chinese that you guys tend to go to, because you guys are old friends. And so you invited me along, and it was just the three of us, and you basically looked after me for a few hours, and it was brilliant. Like, it was so welcoming, and that was my introduction to the community. So that was you, Ben Volmer, first person I spoke to when I arrived at the conference. I met Mark and Ian of the Scottish Summit side of things, Chris Huntingford, all of these names in one conference. So it was an amazing introduction to the conference world. So thank you very much to you and Neil.
I'm a bit stuck for words now, because we were just being ourselves, really. We would have chatted to anyone. So, but look, yeah.
Oh, so I'm not special, damn it!
No, well, yeah.
I just
You're setting these traps for me, you are. I'm just like walking into these traps. It's like, yeah.
No, it was wonderful, and that has been. I've seen that at many different conferences and many different events. It's not just been that with you guys. Jonas, Bibi, these are all other people that are big names. People know these people. Like these are, they're heavily involved in all sorts of things, and you kind of look at them and go, wow, they know loads of stuff, but they're open, they're welcoming, and that's what the community is about.
Yeah, no, it is. Yeah, yeah, that's right. Yeah, and I guess part of the reason I've always kind of liked the in-person ones is because I think sometimes if you're new to, say you're new to the Power Platform, you go to a user group, if it's been streamed or recorded, you know, you can be a bit self-conscious about asking a question, because then it could be online forever, oh, you're the bloke that, that's like, whereas by not, and people say to me, oh, do you record and stream? And I said, no, I said, we don't for this reason, so that people that come along, they make an effort to come along. And then, like I said, there's a whole bunch of really good people there. So some, people suggest stuff and people can ask any question and they do get it. So it's,
That's interesting. That had never even crossed my mind. But then I suppose I'm very comfortable with being on the internet forever and ever. I do this and various other things.
Yeah. You see, I don't really, and I'm kind of shy online. I'm not too. I'm all right in person. I love chatting to people and all that, but I'm just probably. I'm a bit older than you. Well, a good bit older, probably, but that's
a tiny bit. But so that is interesting. I mean, and that is so. Again, we've talked a few times the difference between a virtual and an in-person meetup or conference. I think there's benefits to both in some ways, but I definitely agree that you can't beat in person. You just can't. The in-person events there's a lot more there than just learning. Like if I'm doing a virtual thing, I can watch any video on YouTube and get the same knowledge. Virtual doesn't give the same interaction. You don't have the same ability to kind of just get stuck in with people. And that in person just makes a massive difference. So 2017.
Sorry for interrupting, but you see it yourself, even at conference, if a session's been recorded, what tends to happen sometimes is any questions, there's no questions, and then the session stops, and then all these people go up to the speaker, and you're thinking they clearly have questions, but so
yeah. So if we go back, 8 years ago, you started the user group. Has that been? Is it every month? Is it every quarter? How often do you run it?
What I kind of learned over the years running user groups, and some of this is local knowledge as well as in Ireland, is like forget the summer, right? Because if the sun comes out on the evening you're having this, like nobody's going to show.
Fair enough.
So what we tended to focus is kind of during school term. So trying, obviously avoid Christmas. So that's pretty much. So we aim probably for, I don't know, 7 or 8 a year. And then what we've done as well in our sessions is that we've got 2 hours. So we start at 6, we finish at 8. We have 2 sessions and basically we close at 8. Because people, if they've been at work all day and they've traveled into the city centre, and then there's 2 sessions. And then we go to the pub afterwards if you want to go, and then you can have a few beers and a chat afterwards and stuff like that. So that's kind of, but it took me a few years to kind of figure out the model. And we're lucky then there's a training company called Nexus Human. They allow us to use their training rooms, and we've been there for years, and they're really good guys. And we just say, can we have the room? They say, yeah, no bother, and so it's
nice. Yeah. I think that's some of the most important stuff when it comes to user groups, is having the connections like that, having a venue, because that's one of the hardest things is actually booking somewhere and keeping it. It seems to be. So how many people actually help you with that? Or is it just
usually
you?
I kind of run the meetups, and there's 4 people helping me with the summit and stuff like that.
Right. Oh wow! So it is a one-man band.
They'd probably say they're doing everything and I'm doing nothing, but that's.
You're the face.
Yeah. We could have done with a better face, but anyway. No, cool. Like I said, there's some really, really good people here, so that's. So.
Yeah.
yeah, really,
I
really.
did the user group. Where are the user groups then? Where do you actually run them? Is it
Dublin.
Dublin? Dublin, yeah.
Yeah, it is in Dublin. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. The bulk of the work and everything's in Dublin to be. Yeah,
Yeah, that makes sense.
And I'm up there on a regular basis with work anyway, so it kind of slots in. You know what I mean? So it's worked out fine. So yeah, I'm not sure how many I get in Cork. Maybe. Yeah, yeah. Not
I know
many.
that there's at least some universities. There's a university there that would definitely have some people come along. I know that much.
Yeah, yeah.
Um,
Oh, well, actually, I should have told John actually because I can mention John Grace and North 52. So that's the third time. So he must owe me a drink at this stage, John. But North 52 are in Cork, right? But
yeah, I was just
also
gonna say.
Click Dimensions are in Cork as well.
Really, I didn't know
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
Wow, click
So it's a
dimensions.
hotbed of Power Platform ISVs, Cork. So
That's
that's
it. It's just a beautiful area. That's what it is.
yeah,
Cool. So I'm interested in the difference between the sort of the island of Ireland community and the wider UK community. Is there? There's definitely interaction. I know that much. There's overlap, and there is certainly on the conferences side. But user groups. I mean, a lot of people go to London from all over the UK for the user group.
yeah, yeah.
Do you find that from Ireland people go to London? Do people from London come over to Ireland quite often?
To attend events.
Mhm.
Nobody's come to Ireland for an event, I don't think. Not that I'm
Really?
aware of.
Oh
No,
wow.
yeah, well, Neil has presented a few times. He has a couple of other people that I've come across. But yeah, not too many.
I'm gonna have to
Yeah.
come across then. I love Dublin, so I definitely will come
Oh,
across for that at some point.
but yeah, you should have booked for the summit this year because that's pretty good. But hopefully next year will be bigger and yeah.
I'll definitely do next year. This year, unfortunately, timing wise, it just didn't work out. But it is
Yeah,
one I will almost certainly go to next year.
there's a lot of stuff on this time of year.
There is, yeah. We're
It's
coming very much fast on summit season because I think we were just talking about it before in the green room, so to speak. So we got Baltic Summit. I think it was next week. We got Irish Summit coming up shortly. South Coast in October.
yeah,
I think Nordic. Has Nordic just happened or is it about to happen? I think it's coming up soon as well. It's in this area anyway this time.
yeah, yeah. So yeah, no, it's yeah, no. So it's been busy the last few weeks now. So we're nearly there. So yeah,
Still.
looking forward to the summit.
So are you? So this is the second one you've done then, and you obviously do the user groups. Are you one of these people that gets really, really stressed coming up to it, and then as soon as it starts, you're happy, or as soon as it finishes, you're happy? Like, what's the sort of emotion
Uh,
for you?
I, I I think I'm okay. Last year was a little bit. It was the first time we'd run it, so it was a little bit tricky figuring out whether all these people would actually turn up. You know, and we used LinkedIn last year, so it wasn't as good. We moved to Eventbrite this year because
Right.
last year we had a few ghosts that didn't turn up. So that's yeah. So that yeah, but yeah. No, I think I'm okay, but I don't know. Actually, I'll ask some of the other guys, see what they say. They might say.
That is an interesting one, yeah, because I know Mark and Ian on Scottish Summit. I know that they get very stressed coming up to it, and then they're very relieved once it's done.
Yeah, but that's like huge. Ours isn't that big.
It is pretty large, but then yeah, I mean, I think Mark makes it even bigger because he loves to make it bigger, so he just can't help himself. Cool. And do you get a chance to go to other conferences? Do you travel much for other conferences, or not so much?
No, not so much really. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, like most years, I have been going to MVP Summit, most years and stuff like that.
Hmm.
Uh, that's about all really, to be honest. Like I'm pretty busy running a user group for the most part and then
Yeah.
trying to fit something else in. I do fancy going to one of the other ones and I should do, but yeah, I need to. I, yeah. You come to something next year, and I'll go to something in the UK. Okay, all right.
Sounds good. It's a deal. I mean, for all that,
Yeah.
at this point, what's the second? Second's a Thursday. Ah, right. Okay, so it's one of the midweek conferences. Uh, is it a whole day? So I take it 9 till 4.
Yeah, yeah. We do a full day. Yeah, yeah. So it's yeah, no, it's good. Yeah, yeah. So we got Jennifer speaking. She's like a product lead on AI in Dublin. So like she
Nice.
last year, like she did a role. She said, look, this is what we're doing in Copilot, and she was really good. So she's going to open, and then we've got probably 15 sessions, and at the end, then we kind of have a round table where we have 4 or 5 people at the top would kind of ask me anything and just
Oh, that's
have a
cool.
bit of a general discussion,
Yeah.
and then we go to the pub, and we got some food and a bar, and usually follow up. Yeah, it's good. Yeah,
Very nice. Very good.
yeah,
Yeah, the office there, the Microsoft office there is quite a good office as well. It's good for that.
yeah. It is lovely. Yeah, yeah. It really is nice. Yeah, it's great. Yeah, it's a great place to have a summit. Yeah, yeah.
Cool.
But yeah, delighted with it.
Excellent.
So,
So
yes.
other sort of forms of community. So we talked user group and conferences, things like that. But I know you blog. How do you find blogging? And what is the blogging? Do you have a specific purpose when you blog? Is it for your own memory, or is it you just sort of blog about stuff you're interested in, or how do you choose what to blog? That's a lot of questions. Sorry.
Uh, oh no, you're fine. Yeah, sometimes some of the stuff is from my own memory, and then other times I do it because I'm interested in if I can get something to work, and I try and find something that maybe nobody else has covered, or look for a different angle and stuff like that. So, and I try and post about once a month. You know what I mean? So
Mhm.
that I did a post for this month a few weeks ago,
Mhm.
like on web sockets and stuff like that, and like I
That was
thought,
good.
yeah, I've been looking at it for a long time and thought I must have a go at this, and then I thought actually, so I was just I was trying it out, thought, oh, this is good, people might be interested in that. I was, so that's yeah,
That-
so
I,
that got a lot of
I thought
people
that was
like
pretty
that.
impressive. Yeah, no, I like that. But that was one that I read that, and that was one of the few articles where I went
Yeah,
past the
no,
actual
oh,
LinkedIn and
yeah,
actually went
yeah,
into it.
sorry.
And I'm interested on that one, especially because I know that you say that you're not a developer as such. So that wasn't within your wheelhouse, so to speak. So how did you get on with that? Like, because like to me, the WebSockets just, I don't know, boggles my mind a little bit. But I imagine that it's not actually as bad as it is in my head.
it to be honest, it wasn't that hard at all. And compared, like I obviously what I produced wasn't secure, so that's another aspect. And I didn't mention that in the post. Okay, but no, it was really, I couldn't believe how easy it was, to be honest, something. And then on that post as well, I was only pushing to the clients, you know what I mean? Like you can do tons of stuff, So yeah, I might do another post. I'm thinking of doing some other stuff on, just do another, and maybe, do the Signal R, which is the .NET version or something, just to, but maybe do a two-way thing, or
Hmm. Yeah.
maybe embed something in a Power Page with then, you're messaging back to customers and stuff like that.
Yeah,
So
that's
that's
cool.
one I did. Another one I did, which I was interested in, was like Amazon Connect, and doing a bit of integration between Amazon Connect and Power Apps Dynamics. So yeah, that was like, it was more the digging into it, and I couldn't find any real examples online, so I was just kicking it around to see if I could get it to work, and yeah, it worked, and it wasn't too hard, so that was, yeah, so
Cool.
yeah.
In terms of that cadence of once a month, is that because it takes you the whole month to write it,
It,
or
so I'm so bloody slow. I'm probably slow at everything. To be honest, it's like, yeah,
well, no,
yeah.
because if you choose the schedule and you stick to the schedule, then it doesn't actually, the speed doesn't necessarily matter. So I would argue that once a month with content that is actually worthwhile is better than once a day with content that is not worthwhile. Like, you see so many posts and things on LinkedIn of people just regurgitating the latest blog post or learn documentation. Whereas what you've done is you've actually put together an example of something that wasn't really very obvious out there. And so you showed a different way to use the platform. I think that's much more valuable content than some of the other rehashed learn stuff that you see out there.
I look, I think so, but then the guys are rehashing the stuff, they get the hits, and people know the name because they're constantly, they're constantly filling a feed and stuff like that. But again, like when I do a post like that, and I did appreciate like you coming in and some other guys saying, oh, I didn't know that was possible. And then, I was hoping somebody might say, oh, maybe you could also do this or try this, you know what I mean? But it was good to have people interact, and that's good to know, and then. But sometimes I worry that, maybe I've got the wrong end of a stick as well. I'm writing a post and I'm thinking, surely someone else has covered this. I'm going to post this and somebody's going to do, that's a lot of crap. What are you doing? So that's, yeah.
Well, so that is it's a common issue that I think people that want to blog or get into the community face. They talk themselves out of it before they even write something because they think, well, I'm sure someone's posted about this. Why should I? But the thing is, it's your own version, it's your own spin on it. So I definitely found that valuable because it was just technical enough that you were actually doing it. Like you weren't just talking about some documentation you read and theoretically what you might do. You actually did it and you showed an example of it working. So that, as a technical person, was valuable. So from my perspective, it was good, but it was also concise. It wasn't reams and reams of code like you might see if it was someone that was really doing a deep dive on the technical side of it.
Yeah, I think, even if you weren't a coder, you could probably look at that and thinking, oh yeah, I can see what's happening here. That's you know it. Yeah. So, no, thanks for the kind words. Yeah, no, I'm glad it. Yeah, no, I appreciate it.
I want to see more of them. You need to do it more than once a month,
yeah,
twice
a month.
It's
like, I might stop now because that was a good one.
That's it. Yeah. Finish on a high.
That's it. I'll do an Oasis. I'll come back in 15 years and write another one for 30 million quid or something. So, yeah, that's it. No, actually, what I need to do is I just need some. There is an actor called I'm JoeGill.com, you see. So like, and there is an actor called Joe Gill, but I think he's been in Emmerdale and a few different things. But I just need somebody. I needed Joe Gill to become really famous, and then pay me a load of money for the domain. So
is that the exit strategy from the Power Platform?
Yeah, it's not really working.
That's why you do the user group. You're trying to big someone up to the level that you got to find a Joe Gill. There was actually a comedian.
I keep searching for Joe Gills, and how much are they worth?
It's funny. We joke that there was a comedian that went out there to like Dave Gorman. Do you know Dave Gorman?
The name rings a bell. Yeah.
Well, that was the thing he did. He did a whole I can't even remember. It was a long time ago now. But he did like the social media sort of outreach to try and find all the Dave Gormans he could find. And it was literally about finding every Dave Gorman. And then he turned into like a whole touring sort of comedy show to go and meet them all.
Wow.
And so he literally made a career out of his own name. Talk about building a community. There's a few Reese Campbells out there. And funnily enough, there's actually a company in, I think, Canada, which unfortunately has the domain of reesecampbell.com.
Yeah.
So yes, I've got Rambling Reese, but I like Rambling Reese. Cool. So CRM. So you started in the CRM side of things. So if you were so when did you get into CRM? Would it have been 2011 CRM, or were you as early as 4?
No, I did. No, I started to do a bit with 3 and 4.
Right, okay.
Yeah. No, and that was actually when I was running the .NET developers group in Cork, because I remember doing a talk about it and showing people, look, this is really quick, all these .NET developers. Look, you don't need to write code. You can just use this thing, and well, you could, and then you had to, in those days you had to write a lot of plugins, for pretty much you had to write plugins for everything to extend, but even at that time, I was really surprised that it didn't, Microsoft didn't put a lot of love into it at that point. You know what I mean? Because even at that stage, for a lot of people running on-prem stuff, it was like, it worked pretty well. So
Mm.
that's yeah.
Yeah, so I got involved. 2011 had just come out when I got involved. So for some of the earlier projects I was involved in from a consultant were actually migrations from 4 to 2011. So
Oh, okay.
I saw the transition, but I never actively used 4. I used 2011 extensively.
Yeah.
But 4 was definitely, I know it only from migrations, which means that I know the JavaScript copy and paste fun.
Yeah.
I did
Yeah.
one project up in Aberdeen. That was the first consulting project I did, was traveling up to Aberdeen. Stayed there for, God, I think it was 3 or 4 nights. I was literally there to help them do the live migration, because we tested all ahead of time, and it was just on-site live migration. I was just sitting in this office late at night, just me and one other person, literally copying JavaScript
Yeah.
across. But I mean, even then, 4 was not bad. It was still very much a good platform, and it wasn't a massive change to 2011. I think fundamentally, 2011 did bring a big change. I think that's when Microsoft started to really push. But I think that
Yeah.
was because that was when they were doing the roll-ups, and the roll-up, I think it was 11. That was the big one. That changed a lot, from what I remember. That's when solutions became a massive part of things, and it was just it was a different platform at that point.
Yeah. Yeah. But like, because you were in at that early stage, you understand why there are solutions. You know what I mean? Because originally
Yeah,
it was you basically there was only the default solution, and basically you exported everything, but it wasn't a big deal because there wasn't that much in it.
yeah.
And then they went, oh no, we need.
Everything has to be in a
Sorry,
solution.
was it export all customizations? I think that's what it was, isn't it? Was that
Yep,
the option or something?
I
Yeah.
think it
So that
was.
would
Yeah, yeah,
that would export everything, and that's what became the default solution, and then they put solutions on top then. So like, you know, so and we're stuck with it today. Sorry, we're living with it today.
yeah. I mean, it's, you gotta have something, right?
Yeah, no, you do, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. It is funny though. I mean, the amount of work that they've pushed into the solution space, like the amount of components that are in there now. You're right. Like it used to only be like, I don't know, 25 components or something. Now you're into the sort of 200 odd, because it's literally everything in the platform they've turned into a component of some description that's solution aware.
Yeah, to be honest, I don't know how people starting off get their head around it. You know what I mean? Because you just open up and you're thinking, oh my God, there is so much stuff. You know what I mean? It's just
Yeah,
like, yeah, it's just, yeah. Uh,
that's a good point. But I suppose, everything that you do training wise always says, don't touch the default solution. Ignore that. Create a solution. There you go. You're good to go. So it's a little simpler from that perspective, but it's interesting. So I want to shift gears a little bit. AI.
okay.
Have you done much with
Uh,
AI?
I did a fair bit last year with Copilot on Dynamics and stuff like that. And then I'm obviously using Copilot myself and ChatGPT and all that sort of stuff. But I haven't done any with, I'm not spending a lot of effort at the moment on it, to be honest.
Yeah,
As in,
I think I'm in the same boat. I don't trust it to implement yet. I don't know enough to truly feel comfortable implementing personally, and I see a lot of people talking about it. There's a lot of people out in the community talking about AI and things, but yeah, I'm not comfortable with it. I feel like a bit of an old curmudgeon in some ways, but it's the latest fad that I don't necessarily, I mean, I like using it and I do use it, but you have to be careful. That's my view on it. It's if you are not if you're not aware of what it is you're asking, then it's very easy for it to lead you down the path of fake everything. That's my concern with it.
yeah, there's that side. And then from kind of an app development point of view, I've got a good friend. He's like a senior guy in AI. So I had lunch with him the other day, and I was asking him, about like generate, like he understands. He says, like, we can generate an app now and build an application in no time. He said, but like he said, I understand the code and I can look at the code it
Yeah.
produces and figure out if it's any good and stuff like that. But he said, you know, if you don't understand the code, it could just produce a load of crap for you and stuff like that,
Yeah.
and then I think we're probably seeing it in IT now is people don't want to train grads. So like, so okay, if you've got a senior guy now and he's using AI to generate code, he can check the code and go, yeah, no, that's not quite right. I need to tweak it, or it's using the wrong library, blah, blah, blah. But like, if you're a junior and you said, oh, it's generated a code, and you say you deploy it, yeah, it's like, yeah,
Yeah, that's one of the things. One of the difficulties I've had. So I am one of those developers that actually does use it for coding because I do find it useful. It is very helpful to be able to generate. I see it as kind of IntelliSense Plus in many ways.
yeah,
It auto completes so much useful stuff, and I can get it to build stuff that I don't necessarily know how to do. I'd have to go on Google and find out. But I'll find it out, and then once I've got it, I understand what it's doing. But that's exactly it. There's been a few times where I've asked it to do something, and it's just thrown in loads of files and loads of code. I'm looking at it going, what the? Why? Why is it put all of this
yeah,
in for a simple, I don't know, page of list of results? What's happening? And I go and look into it, and it's created all of these functions and all of these abstractions that are just not necessary. They're unnecessary entirely. And then I ask it, well, no, that's not what I wanted. Can you simplify that and remove? And then it starts to simplify the functions it's provided rather than get rid of them.
yeah.
It's just I maybe I've just not found the right way to use it yet, but it's it's definitely it's a problem if you're not careful.
Yeah. Are you courteous do you say please?
I actually do.
I do.
I
I
please.
do
And
as well.
one thing I have noticed though is I've given up just about on punctuations. So I don't put in the question mark. So I say, can you please generate this for me? But I won't put in a question mark. And now I'm noticing that I do the same when I'm messaging people. I'm like, this is a bad habit. I need to stop doing this because I like to be correct when I send messages or email things. And so I feel like I am getting lazy because I don't need all of that in the AI. And so it seems to translate to the other text that I type as well.
You probably stopped doing full stops a long time ago then, did you?
To be fair, I have.
Yeah.
I love a semicolon though. Gotta throw a semicolon in.
I didn't realize we were going to be talking about punctuation, Reese, to be
That's
honest.
one of the best things about this. I love just an open conversation. But speaking of which, we have reached a nice natural conclusion. So we are going to go through the rapid fire questions and then we shall call it there. This has been a wonderful chat. So let's go through these. There's not many, but yeah, quick thoughts on each one. Favorite Power Platform service?
Model driven apps.
Nice. Good strong
Yeah.
one there.
It's got to be. Yeah. Yeah.
Favorite conference?
Oh, Irish Power Platform Summit.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Best in
good.
the world.
Excellent. Last music you can remember listening to?
I had Whitesnake on Spotify a while ago.
Oh, nice. Oh, I'm gonna have to go and listen to some some of that afterwards. That and Rob Zombie. I do love me some Rob Zombie.
Yeah.
That makes me want to go watch The Matrix as well. Too late for that. Podcasts or TV?
TV.
Cool. And if you had 2 hours with no other responsibility, what would you do?
Oh my God. I don't know. Yeah, go to the pub, I guess.
Love it. Good. Books or audiobooks?
Books.
And glass half full or half empty?
Half full. Yeah.
Half full of beer.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, Joe, that's been wonderful. Thank you so much for joining me today. It's been good to wander down memory lane and go over some of that history.
No. Thanks for having me, Reese. And look, it's really nice what you said about me and Neil. So yeah, I think we were just being ourselves. Really, it wasn't that thing. Yeah.
But that was the amazing part. That I
Yeah.
think there are so many people in our community that are like that. And that is my intro. But you can speak to many different people, and they'll say the same thing about lots of other people as well. There's so many sportive people out there, and I think that's the thing I'd like to try and get across to other people when they watch this, is that no matter the name, no matter who it is, speak to them. Go and say hi. Just introduce yourself, and almost certainly there'll be a nice person that will happily chat to you, go for dinner with you, have a beer with you. Just.
I would hope anyone involved in the community is authentic and genuine. You know what I mean? And that's and sense of humor helps as well. But it's
Always, it always helps. All right, Joe. Again, thank you very much, and have a wonderful evening. And goodbye, everyone else out there.
Buddy.
Bye.
Yeah. Bye to all. See you later. Bye.